You know, it's dangerous when you let a pastor have a microphone. It can get going for a minute. Hey, I'm really honored to be with you guys this morning. You guys have a special culture, and sometimes it takes somebody coming from the outside in to see that it's special and help you remember that it's really special. So I just want to say, you're blessed to be here right now. Somebody made you coffee. They put your little name tag on the table, and you've got some snacks over there. So it's awesome. You've got it good. Cheer up. Be enthusiastic. There's a lot to be excited about. Brittany, Andy, thank you so much for having me. Josh, way to go, facilitating all of this. This is such a special thing that you guys are doing. But particularly, one of my favorite parts of this morning is that I get to be in the room with my wife, Francesca Price. Say hey. Love you. It's great to be with you guys this morning. I'm excited to share with you this morning around the idea of cultivating a lifestyle of generosity. You don't have to be, all you have to be is a Google expert in typing this in to learn really quickly that there are tons of benefits to being a generous person. First and foremost, generous people tend to be healthier people. They actually have lower blood pressure statistically. They actually live longer, have a longer life expectancy. And check this out. Wouldn't we all want this? They actually have lower stress levels. And there's a lot to say about what that is and what's actually going on in the brain, but it's really simple. It's just the idea of living open-handed. Not holding on, not being clenched fist, but actually releasing the blessings that we have in our lives and sending them out into the world around us. The third thing that I would go as far as to say is that people that are generous and that have a generous lifestyle, they enjoy the favor, they enjoy the benefit of having people around them that are for them. When you are open-handed, when you are living your life ready to give, not just receive, people you'll find are going to be for you. They want to champion you. They want to push you forward. They want to see you succeed. But there's a couple of challenges here, right? First of all, our first challenge is that we live in a unique time. We live in a culture that is hyper-individualistic. I know that that's a big word, but we have concentrated our minds and our hearts on what we can consume rather than what we can contribute. It's all about what experience are we going to have? When is the next vacation we're going to have? When is the next meal or going out to dinner that we're going to be able to experience? What is the next post that we're going to be able to consume? And we get so indoctrinated with this idea of I need to get more and more and more from me. That culture has kind of created this system that we do that. And then secondly, we have our nature. And in our DNA, you don't have to be a psychologist. You just need to spend some time with a 2-year-old to know that our nature is to keep things to ourselves. Come and spend a few hours with our little one, Leo, and his cousins, and they're scratching each other, they're clawing, they're fighting over toys that they haven't played with in years. Have you ever seen this? And they all are continually saying, mine, mine, mine. And we call this the meeting of the Minosaurs. These little guys will do anything that they can to take hold of what they want. And while it doesn't just end when they're kids, right? We might mature emotionally as adults, but we still tend to fight this same thing. We want to hoard things close to us. In self-preservation, we want to keep things to ourselves and not share them with other people. So how do we actually cultivate this lifestyle of generosity when there's a culture around us that's telling us to consume and there's something within us that is saying, keep things to yourself? How do we actually cultivate this lifestyle of generosity? Well, there's an ancient principle called the principle of the seed. And it's really simple. It just goes like this. The generous sower reaps a generous crop. The stingy sower reaps a stingy crop. And, you know, we don't live in an agrarian society, but it's a simple idea. We've all been given some seed, and these are some kernels from some corn. Some of us have been given more. Some of us have been given less. But here's the reality. We all have the option to choose how, when, and where we're going to sow those seed. And for most of us, when we think about the harvest that we're going to reap, right, we plant the seed and we expect there to be a crop. We expect there to be fruit on the other side of this return. But here's the thing that's interesting. I don't know if anybody in here is, farming their own vegetables, but this is the power of the principle of the seed, is that when you harvest the fruit or when you harvest the crop, you get more seed. Okay? So here's where it becomes a compounding effect. You started with this, but you're ending with this. Now you have the opportunity to take the bigger thing that you've been entrusted with and to sow even more generously. And so the farmer knows that he's not just planting for the crop that he's going to get, but for the seed that he's going to get also and have the opportunity to sow more. So this is what I want you to think about with this principle of the seed, is that generosity, like the seed, like planting the crop, could be the avenue of which your next opportunity is going to come. When you sow seed, you plant that seed, there's a harvest. The harvest is going to create your next opportunity to grow and to be generous. It's compounding in nature. You might be listening to this, you might be thinking, Jordan, hey man, it's 2022, inflation is going through the roof, the supply chain is backed up terribly. This is not really the season of my life to be generous financially. And part of that is a too narrow of a view. And for me, I've thought this way for years, that generosity primarily involved finances. But I want to tell you that there is the opportunity in your life to be generous in all things. All of us in our day-to-day lives have an abundance of opportunity to show generosity to other people. Let me clue you into a few that you might be overstepping. The first is that we all have the opportunity to be generous with our time. We all have time on our hands that we can decide who we're going to give it to, how we're going to use it. You can easily invite the new guy or the new girl to go to coffee with you, right? You can give that 20 minutes so easily, 30 minutes so easily to that person. You can send that email after that meeting to your coworker and say, oh my gosh, you led so well in that meeting. I just want to take 30 seconds and gas you up. That's what the kids say when they want to fire each other up. They want to gas you up. You can gas them up. It costs you so little to send that 2-sentence email after that. Go even a little step further. Take the time to write a handwritten note. These are all forms of generosity that cost you so little, but will go so far in the eyes of other people. Check this out. We all have the opportunity to be generous with information. I've seen this as I've stepped out of ministry and into full-time construction and real estate. What I'm amazed by is how generous people are with information in the construction industry. My plumber wants to tell me who the best electrician is. Now think about, why does he want to share this with me? Because he wants me to win so that when I get another opportunity, can use my plumber again. I'm going, my plumber is for me. My plumber is making sure I get the best electrician. Therefore, I know that my plumber is going to do a good job. All of you guys in here are business professionals. You're professionals in your field, and you have the opportunity to be generous with your skill set, with the knowledge that you have. There's younger people on your team and in your life that you can sow information into their lives, and there will be a return on the backside of your investment by sharing that information with them. We all in our daily lives have the opportunity to be generous with our kindness and be merciful to people. Think about this for just a second. Let's be quick to forgive. Let's be slow to hold bitterness towards, or better yet, let's not hold on to bitterness at all. There's generosity in forgiving quickly. Check this out. I think a lot about this idea of cultivating a gentle tone, whether that's in your verbal, your everyday language with people, or even if it's in a text message or email. We could all raise our hands here, and we probably got an email yesterday that didn't have a good tone, right? Somebody did in here. But we can all grow in this, and we can show dignity to others through the way that we share kindness. I got one idea and one image that I want to leave you guys with. A few years ago, Francesca and I had the opportunity pre-pandemic to go to Israel, and it's such an amazing, amazing place. There's like nothing like it on the planet. So many diverse landscapes, but one of the interesting things about this part of the world and about Israel is that they have a sea at the northern part of the country called the Sea of Galilee. And this is where Jesus did a lot of his ministry, and you can see it's a lush, it's a green area, it's surrounded by mountains, it's absolutely gorgeous. Little Bible trivia right here. Does anybody know the body of water that connects the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea? Hello, the Jordan River. You guys need to go to Sunday school. Just kidding. So the Jordan River connects the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea. And the Dead Sea is completely different. It's dry, it's barren, and there's nothing actually living in the Dead Sea. And why is that? Because there's no outlet. Everything just flows into the Dead Sea and it stops, and all the minerals build up, and it's become so salty that nothing can actually live in that body of water. And so here's the idea that I want you to remember is that healthy things have overflow. Healthy things, healthy organizations, healthy people have overflow, and they're directing that into other people, into other businesses. We're not just being filled up, but we're actually pouring out. You're not just a consumer, but you're a contributor. And here's the interesting part of generosity. I'm closing up. You will only know if this is true if you put it to practice. Thank you.